Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Tougies Take podcast, your weekly aggregator, I guess, of everything going on in the hockey world by three random dudes on the internet. That's a really good pitch for this show. We need to trademark that or set it in stone. We're back again. Us, the guys, the fellas. The three of us are here. Of course, I am joined alongside Mr. Endo Mills. And
hi,
returning to the show, Mr. Sim for the win. Sinsky, how the heck are you?
I'm doing okay. I slept like shit last night, but here we are. We're here. We're powering through. We're going to get this podcast going.
It's the way to do it. Don't have too much else to add aside from that. It's good to have you back, though. That's all I know. It is good to have you back. The show just isn't the same at this point, unless it's the three of us here shooting the shit. So today, we have some stuff to talk about. Still not Nazem Kadri. Sign a damn contract, Nazem. For the love of God. The Islanders rumors are still there. Won't go away. I'm bored of this. You're like the last big free agent that needs to sign.
Why would he go to the Islanders? That's gross.
Where else is he going to go at this point unless he takes a pay cut?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Pretty much where he's at. But that is like the last big free agent signing I need to put out my final roster update of NHL 22. And then I can just be done with it. So, Nazem, please, for the love of God.
Speaking of Barzal, I mentioned the Islanders and we're mentioning contracts. He's making $14 million in my current franchise mode in LA.
Wow.
LA signed Barzal to like $14 million a year.
That's crazy.
Oh,
good for him.
I love EA. And of course they have no goaltenders.
Yeah. Three goalies. Two of them are 70 overall or lower.
Yep.
You know, it's great. That game has no problems at all. None. One of these days, we will have the doing nothing but complaining about EA show.
It's been a while. Probably when the next game comes out and it sucks dick too.
Our NHL 23 franchise review. It's going to be great. We're not all that long out from it. It's going to be a fun time. Yeah. So, as always, before we get into today's show, talking about all the things and the stuff, wanted to mention that this podcast brought to you by our lovely friends at Manscaped. That is manscaped.com. You can use the code Tougie at checkout for 20% off your order and free worldwide shipping. Manscaped.com. Code Tougie. Treat yourself right. Do it. Thank you.
Clean yourselves.
Do it.
True. Like, I get it. It's almost the middle of August already. How the hell is that possible? Like, oh, how much more are you heading to the beach? How much? Take care of yourself year round. Year round. Do it. Code Tougie. Manscaped. We have some viewer questions from our lovely people over on our Discord. Again, the link is in the description. As always, go to the viewer questions section and leave questions like these fine people did. We'll start off with, coincidentally, Kadri has a ring. Doesn't currently have a contract, but he does have a ring. What is a game in your mind that is the worst game in franchise history for a favorite team in terms of ship performance? What game stands out to you the most as the worst game you can recall your favorite team playing? Mine is easy. 2019 Game 7.
Game 7, yeah. They were pretty shit, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I felt so bad. I was like,
the biggest stage of them all. Game 7, Stanley Cup final, home ice, and they lost. I think it was 4-0. I've tried to put that game out of my mind much as possible.
4-0 or 4-1. I can't remember, but yeah, it was. That was
fuck. Like that'll always be the answer. Always.
Fair enough. Ugh. There's so many to choose from.
And what Game 7 round 1 loss for the Leafs are you picking?
Actually, I was gonna go a different route.
David Ayers? Nashville 9-2.
Nashville 9-2.
I knew
because that was what signified there was something gonna happen. I'm pissed that it took that long, like for them to be like, oh shit, like. But when you lose to Nashville 9-2, like, and like you're supposed to be a contender, and it was just like, yeah, we're gonna fucking fire everybody. and then just go on more of a mediocrity like streak afterwards. I mean, it's had some upsides and some downsides, but it's just not pretty to look at from retrospective.
It's fair enough. Sin, does anything stand out for you as a Sharks fan? Like one
Like,
specific game?
no, like that's the weird thing. I'm trying to think as a Sharks fan, and there's not. Honestly, for me, it's more Packers because every fucking year Aaron Rodgers does magic shit, and then they something weird happens in the playoffs, and it's just is the most awful thing on the planet. Honestly, I think it was last year. I guess was it last year against San Francisco where they just were utter dog shit in their home arena, and they just got beat by special teams essentially, and it was supposed to be there. It is supposed to be all the advantage to Green Bay. You're at home in Lambeau where Rodgers doesn't fucking lose, and it's snowing. You should beat those clowns from California. And no. The California 9-5 prevailed. That was pretty bad. Honestly, yeah, it's weird that it's like for me more Packers stuff than Sharks stuff. But I mean, I guess I was used to the pain because for the Sharks, it was never one game that stood out. It was always a sequence. Maybe that one game, the first time we played Vegas in the playoffs, where we went down like 4-0 in the first 3 minutes of the game or whatever. But then I'm so numb to the Sharks sucking. Like, it wasn't a game, but the reverse sweep to LA, right? Like,
yeah.
It's always been a sequence. It's always like it's not one domino for the Sharks. It's always like
just the entire thing collapsing.
Yeah, burn the whole fucking franchise.
Oh, goodness. From Scroopy Noopers. And I feel like we've gotten one of these before, but it's a little bit different. Who's an NHL player that played for your favorite franchise that nobody remembers played for that team? His example was Sergei Fedorov for the Ducks. I feel like a lot of people
I don't even remember that.
I was going to say, okay, there we go. I'm wrong, because I was going to say, I feel like a lot of people do remember that, but maybe it's along the likes of like Adam Foote playing for Columbus. That type of thing where it's just like, that's a really...
Yeah, but it has to be our favorite team,
move.
Which is, tougher. Because what if there's,
So, yeah, the list or, the guy that stands out to you of like, nobody remembers this dude being a Bruin.
I 100%
go ahead, lead it off.
Bill Guerin for the Sharks.
When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah!
You're right. There you go.
Bill Guerin. And I remember when we traded for him. I went to see a game, and we had just traded for him, like at the deadline or something like that. He's in his 13, Guerin, and then he was playing all over the lineup until this one game. It was a playoff game against Nashville. That was when we were playing Nashville every freaking year in the first round. And at the end of the game, when we had the lead and we wanted to kill time off, they sent out Marleau, Thornton, and Guerin on a line together, and for 1 minute straight, they just cycled the puck down low in Nashville's end, and Nashville could not get the puck off of them. It was amazing to witness. But yeah, it's Bill Guerin is one. Like, I was like, Solani, but everyone kind of remembers that. Blake, obviously, he was the captain. Everyone kind of remembers that. But yeah, Bill Guerin, he was a rental.
He was, and I'm trying to find who he was traded for because the deal was. He signed a 1-year deal with St. Louis in the summer of 2006 and was dealt in February of 2007 to the Sharks for Ville Nieminen, prospect Jay Barabal, and a conditional first that was either New Jersey's in 2007 or San Jose's in 2008. And I am trying to track that down. Guerin, by the way, as a Shark, 16 games, 8 goals, 1 assist, played 9 playoff games with 2 assists. So, a bit of a weird time. The guarantee. So that first round pick, the Blues did get it in 2007. 26th overall. David Perron.
That's pretty good.
That deal worked out pretty well for the Blues. I mean, granted, he went to Vegas, he left, he just went to Detroit, but yeah, that's not too bad of a deal for St. Louis.
Interesting. And then he got Perron. That's a weird cycle because Perron got absolutely lit up by Jumbo with that one hit when Jumbo came out of the box. That was back then it's pretty fucking dirty, but maybe it wasn't as dirty back then, but it was when they're starting to try to crack down. That's a very interesting confluence of events right there. Could have been a Shark and City. It's Concussed by Jumbo.
Endo, do you have anything that stands out? Any Leafs that's like, because I feel like there's a lot of those, especially in the past 10 years of like, oh yeah, that guy was a Leaf.
Yeah, that 2015 team was something else. I would say Olli Jokinen, who
What? He
immediately
was?
wanted to. He immediately wanted to trade the second he got there. He was like, he gets there, was like, yeah, I'm out, because
Yeah,
that was part of the team that tanked. It was like him and like Eric Brewer as a defenseman with like Dion Phaneuf. That's one of the oddest people to play on that team. But that 15 team was dog shit, absolutely dog shit.
Yes, it was.
yeah. I can't imagine a Finn would like to play in Toronto.
Yeah,
Just seems like the complete opposite of the culture that they want to be. They're like, nope, stop bothering me, please.
everyone here is loud. Why is everyone loud?
So I want to shout out this article from I believe it's an SB Nation. It is the Bruins SB Nation affiliate, Stanley Cup of Chowder, who put out an article. It was Chris Fevins back in 2020. Put out an entire article of Bruins who it's like, how the hell were you a Bruin?
Bruins.
Paul Coffey.
What?
Paul Coffey, who played 18 games for the Bruins in 01-02 before retiring.
I kind of remember that. I don't know why.
Very bizarre. I do remember this one. Brian Leach, former Boston Bruin.
They were really trying to recapture the Bobby Orr vibe there for a while, weren't they?
Yep. Yes, they were. Dave Andrechuk was a Bruin for 63 games. Endo will obviously remember this one. Felix Potvin was a Bruin.
Oh, yeah.
One of the more recent ones, Brian Gianna. 20 games of Brian Gianna as a Bruin.
Why was he ever on the Bruins? He's like the complete opposite of what they want.
It was in 17-18 as well. So fucking weird. One of my favorite players of all time, Simone Gagne, played for the Bruins, but he was cooked at that point in 2010. There's been a ton of weird ones for the Bruins, for sure.
I do not remember Brian Gianta at all. Like, that's
most
a weird
Bruins
one.
fans would like to not remember that as well. Our final question comes from RG Dust. Now, this is more of a quiz for you two. Can you name 5 NHLers that have been in movies? Bonus question. Can you name what NHL player was in the 2007 Transformers movie? Hint, he played for the Preds.
Absolutely not.
I got nothing.
2007 Preds in 2007.
Yeah. I can give another hint for this because I had no fucking idea, but I obviously had to look it up. Married to a very famous person. Mike Fisher. There it is.
Huh.
That gives it away.
Yeah, that gave it away.
Mike
5
Fisher.
NHLers that have been in movies. Well, for one, I guess Mike Fisher's one.
Yeah. In the role of football coach, Mike Fisher, by the way, in that movie.
5 NHLers, man. Let's see.
5 NHLers.
Been
in films.
PK Subban.
Yeah, PK Subban. Most recent Jackass movie. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. Georges Laraque was in Goon.
Yes, he was. Yep. Very good. Very good.
Terry Ryan Shorzy. Would that count or no?
I'd say that counts. Why not?
Yeah. It's low hanging fruit though. That's really obvious.
It is. Yeah. It's a tough one.
Gretzky was in a movie. He was in Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, there you go. I was waiting for you to just be like, the Mighty Ducks movies, because there was all the cameos in the world. In those films.
Cam Neely, Luke Robitaille, they were all in D2 as well.
I mean, Cam Neely is Seabass and Dumb and Dumber, of course. Yeah. So I found out Marty McSorley was in Con Air.
Was he the guy that got thrown out of the plane with a message written on him?
He was the co-pilot of the plane. So
weird.
Yeah, Marty McSorley was in Con Air. I also would have accepted all the cameos in Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme, including because the whole movie is based around Jean-Claude Van Damme takes his kids to the Stanley Cup final between the Penguins and the Blackhawks, but terrorists are trying to blow up the arena at the same time.
No clue what that is. All
Dude,
right.
it's the best. He fights Iceberg, the Penguins mascot, which is this woman in a suit who knows karate.
What?
It's please watch Sudden Death. Hold on, let me look
That
this
is
up
so
right
stupid.
now.
I need to watch that now.
It's the best. Let's see, Sudden Death, where to watch. Yeah, it's like you can rent it from like YouTube, Apple TV, Vudu, YouTube. Yeah, pay $4 on YouTube to watch Sudden Death. Do it. God, I also would have accepted Brent Burns' cameo in Vikings, even though it's a TV show.
Oh, yeah, that's not a movie.
Also would have accepted Bob Probert in The Love Guru. That was a thing that happened, apparently.
Oh, that was that horrible Mike Myers movie, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And like Mini-Me was that was
Yeah, it was
I
fucking
saw
weird.
bits and pieces. I remember bits and pieces of it. I don't know if I saw the whole thing, but yeah. I
hope
only
you
remember
didn't.
bits and pieces.
I hope you didn't. But yeah, then there's like just a bunch of movies like Mystery Alaska, The Rocket, Youngblood that all had hockey player cameos. So not the most difficult question in the world, but yeah, Bob Probert was in The Love Guru. That's your biggest takeaway from this bout of questions to kick off this show. So thank you, everybody, for those lovely questions. Before we move into kind of our general what's been happening, we need to catch Sin up on what's happened recently. Our boy's been a little bit separated, a little bit disconnected, which good for you. I wish I could be. I'm rather envious. But a couple of quick things. First and foremost, your thoughts on Patrick Marleau's number being retired by the Sharks.
Had to happen, and he should. He'll probably be the only one that's retired for a while. At least it should be that way. I saw a lot of people start throwing around other names like Nolan or Nabokov or even Jumbo, and Jumbo's a tough one to say no to, but Marleau is Mr. Shark, like drafted by the Sharks. And
we went over on the last episode
how
many team records he has. Funny thing was, though, I want to see if you can get this. The all-time hat trick leader, Marleau's tied with a bunch of people for second with 5. Do you know who has the most hat tricks in Sharks history? With 9, by the way.
9? That's crazy.
This answer shocked the shit out of me, I gotta be honest.
9 hat tricks.
Yeah.
Jeff Friesen.
Solid guess.
Damn, nah.
Jonathan Cheechoo.
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna say him, but I'm
too.
like, that's almost too obvious. Like, I feel like it's not that. But no, yeah, the first, I mean, his 56 goal season, dude, he had like so many hat tricks that year alone.
That's how we got it. Yeah, he was just that dominant for such a short amount of time, but it worked out for him.
Or Jumbo was that dominant? Who knows?
Yeah, basically. As well, Mario Ferraro ended up re-signing with the Sharks.
He did. Finally,
a 4-year deal at 3.25.
Yep.
Currently has the Sharks at 1.2 over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Still seems like someone's going to get moved.
No, we'll just cheat all year. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, so someone's on the way out. I don't know who it is. Not a major piece for that amount, 1.2 or so. Like, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see what moves they make. Obviously, yeah, you said some other moves got to take place, so we'll see what Mike Greer has up his sleeve. But overall, you know, we wanted a new direction. He's put us on it for better or worse, and we'll see what happens with it.
Your thoughts on Dustin Brown getting his jersey retired by the Kings, and also the announcement that he is going to get a statue outside the former Staples Center.
What? That's my best Stone Cold impression. I don't fucking get it.
Oh my god.
That makes 0 sense to me. Absolutely zero sense. It's like they're memeing and someone made a fucking meme and it actually went way too far and now they're like, well, we're in too deep now. We're kind of committed to it. Like everyone's on board. Fuck. Dustin, as long as it's him with the fucking water bottle squirting it the wrong way, I'm on board. And it's got to be a fountain. It's got to be a fountain. If not, then what are you doing? I'm sure. I don't know. I haven't talked to Crash about this, but I want to know how he's feeling as a resident geriatric Kings fan.
He was okay with it. Just the idea if he was the captain for the first 2 teams to ever win type of thing. So,
Yeah.
and then Max Pacioretty criticizing the Vegas Golden Knights upon his exit should be noted as well. Unfortunately, Pacioretty tore his Achilles in practice with the Hurricanes. He'll be out for at least 6 months, so that
Talk shit,
blows
get
for
hit.
them.
That's
But
actually damn. That sucks because now. Yeah. Oh well.
yeah, can't really rub it back in their face, right?
Yeah.
So Pacioretty said this, and I want your thoughts. Quote, I even mentioned that at the end of the year. I didn't say this specifically. I didn't want this to be like playing in Montreal. But I told them, quote, no one is really holding us accountable. If we had a bad year like this, the city would be half on fire if we were in Montreal. Here we are showing up to the rink. It's 80 degrees. It's sunny. We're getting our car washed, getting organic food, playing golf. I was kind of like, we got to police this thing better amongst each other. I don't want to say it was a country club, but when you have no one from the inside holding you accountable, yeah. So the culture is what we expected it to be in Vegas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the biggest smile right now. The Cheshire Cat
Yeah,
smile.
I mean,
just
this is all stuff that I've pretty much been aware of, or at least have been able to hypothesize and suss out from what has gone on. I mean, yeah, there's no accountability top to bottom in that organization, and it's extremely clear. Like, and yeah. And honestly, I hope they continue to implode further. It does really suck that Pacioretty, hurts his Achilles and shit like that. Because then the Vegas fans who are like, trying to rationalize how it's okay to trade a player away like that for future considerations, literally your best goal scorer, are now feeling vindicated, even though they still shouldn't. But yeah, they feel vindicated. It's their little, thank God.
Yeah, we got rid of him. See, we made the right choice, even though he wasn't hurt before we.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of things. Before we actually move into the general side of things, wanted to mention it was announced today that Borja Salming, at 71 years old, he's been diagnosed with ALS, which is absolutely fucking brutal, ridiculously horrible disease is the only way to really sum it up. I mean, it's crazy. So best wishes to him, his family. But a reminder to you youngins out there, research a legend. First ever Swedish Hockey Hall of Famer. Had 4 straight 70-point seasons as a defenseman between 1977 and 1980. Leafs Club legend is number 21, retired by the team. Research a legend. Inform yourself. Get a little bit knowledgeable today, and do so in a good way by looking up a fucking hockey legend in Borja Salming.
For your youngins, youngins, that's essentially a better William Nylander. There you go.
Also a defenseman who racked
defense.
up 100 penalty minute seasons.
If Nylander played defense and went into the corners.
So nothing like William Nylander.
Got him. Yeah. So just ignore what Endo just said.
Ignore everything I've said. Throw it out the window.
Beautiful.
That could be the
Endo as well, just for Leafs fans, the horrifying news that Rich Clune retired, but he does join the Leafs as a player development coach. Just all around a damn good hockey story on that one for Rich Clune.
Good guy.
And then, yeah, I don't know if you had anything to add about Rich Clune. I was just trying to twist the knife a little bit. I don't know.
No, he's retired and he's taken a management job inside of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. So that's great. Seems like a lot of I feel like that culture just with the Leafs organization. Excuse me while I just homer it up a little bit here for my favorite team.
Oh, please do.
Like it just they seem like they really want to like keep a unit together and like work with their former players. I'm not sure if a lot of franchises really do that, and I don't really do it in like an alumni kind of role, but like I don't see a lot of places like actually bringing in that talent as well to do stuff on the internals, or at least as much as other franchises.
Fair. I got to be honest. I kind of agree with it. Really, like you don't really hear about them doing anybody wrong. At least
the culture
compared to Vegas, got one up on Vegas at least.
Yeah.
Kevin Bieksa put this story out that was always kind of rumored and is even now more confirmed. That Daniel and Henrik Sedin used to switch jerseys just for fun, which started in their minor hockey days, and they would randomly switch jersey before preseason games, all-star games, and, quote, probably more. there is a chance in regular season NHL games that the Sedins switch jerseys just to fuck with people, meaning their stat lines could be wrong. But at the same time, they made the Hockey Hall of Fame together anyway, so who gives a fuck? Under normal circumstances, it'd be like, but the sanctity of the game. But this is hilarious.
This is honestly hilarious.
Like, why? Of course they would do that. Why wouldn't they? Right?
Yeah.
But I just love the idea of the all-star introductions. Here's Daniel Sedin, and it's Henrik. Hello. Nobody knows. Like, it's just, God bless the Sedin twins.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know.
As much as it was fun to rip on them when they were playing and stuff, they were great. They were incredible to watch. Like they were a blast.
The same thing I always say. If the 2011 final wasn't against the Bruins, I 100% would have been rooting for the Canucks in that series. Like, God, just for the Sedins alone, Roberto Luongo. I mean, how could you not at that stage? But yeah, goddamn, Sedins are the best. Some captain news as well as we continue to kind of fly through this because, hey, guess what? There wasn't a ton to talk about until the very end. The New York Rangers have named the 28th captain of their team's history, Jacob Trouba.
Trumba!
Jacob Trouba!
Come on, Tumba.
On one hand, I'm not surprised. On the other, I know some people are like, oh, you're not Panarin, not Zibanejad, not Kreider, not this guy. But it's like,
surprised it isn't Kreider, honestly. Trouba, to me, doesn't make sense. Especially when he's going to...
Kreider's signed for an extra year, too. Trouba's under contract for 4 years. Kreider's got 5 more years left.
Yeah.
But there you go, the culture. It does lead up to the question here, though. There are 7 teams that don't currently have a captain. And I kind of wanted your thoughts. We're going to go through every team here and just kind of be like, hey, who do you think? Do you think they'll name a captain or kind of hold off? Anaheim. In terms of a captain, their captain potential for like the veteran leadership, Cam Fowler, Adam Henrique, they are 100% waiting, or they'll just hand somebody like Terry Zegras.
Yeah, they need to go triple alternate until one of the young guys steps up. Like that's what I think their path is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. Like I don't know, maybe I don't know because we talk about like the optics of captaincy, and sometimes it is that guy where it's like, oh yeah, well, that's weird. That guy was the captain of this team. Yeah, I don't see the Ducks doing that at this stage. Nor do I think they want to put the pressure on Trevor Zegras. To just be like, hey, you're 21, you're the captain of the Ducks now. Have fun. Like,
yeah, that often doesn't work out too well. And I want to see Zegras continue to be himself and not feel like that he needs to be this fucking prototypical NHLer. That's honestly the worst thing they could do is just hand it to Zegras right now.
Yeah. The Arizona Coyotes. Chychrun has 3 years left on his deal, but he's been in all the trade rumors.
Yeah. No one cares. Moving on. No.
Yeah. Like Keller for 6 more years, Schmaltz for 4 more. Lawson Krause just signed a new 5-year deal worth $4.3 million per, which is pretty good deal for Lawson Krause. I'm glad it's worked out for him there. But there's no like obvious shout for me of like name that guy captain. I guess it would be Clayton Keller is your best player, but why not give it to Andrew Ladd for the year? Give it to the youngest guy on the team who's used to a college setting. There you go, everybody. We made the college joke for the Coyotes. There you go.
Get your bingo cards, Geek Slayer. Holy.
I feel so sad for him, man. It's just constantly under attack as a Coyotes fan. Like how dare you be a Coyotes fan is what he's had to deal with all goddamn summer. It's ridiculous. The Buffalo Sabres, Alex Tuch. End of. Like how he's a New York guy and just how that team rallied around him essentially as the centerpiece of the Eichel trade. Alex Tuch has to be their captain.
Solid
I think
nod. He plays the right way, I think, for that captain too, which is why I wanted Kreider, honestly, for New York. But
yeah, I mean, I think you don't want to put that pressure on Dahlin at this stage.
No. Look what happened with Eichel.
Yeah, so Tuch is the guy to be the captain for that team. Hands down, no debate. The Calgary Flames. Nassim, you haven't gotten to talk about how well they've kind of rebounded from losing Gaudreau and the Tkachuk trade. Because
Have
again,
I
they
not?
brought in
The Kachuk trade was good.
Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought in Huberdeau, successfully re-signed him as well.
Oh, I didn't
years.
even know that.
Oh, so yeah, there you go. 8 years at $10.5 million for Jonathan Huberdeau. Starting
Wow.
after this season, he's still under contract for $5.9 for this upcoming year.
10.5 is high, but
That
he's in
is a
his
guy
prime.
who put up 115 points
Yeah.
in 80 games last
Yeah,
season.
it is. And he's more consistent high end scoring than Keith. Matthew Tkachuk was. What the hell did I just go to Keith for?
We were talking about the old heads, that's why. Talking about all the old guys just comes to mind.
But yeah, that's really impressive. Well, now I'm blanking on who the other guy got. Oh my god,
They got Mackenzie Weegar on defense.
Yes, they haven't
to
obviously
resign.
signed him yet. Yeah, I mean,
No.
they
At the
should
same
have
time,
money for both. I don't know.
Yes, I do believe they do. At the end of because at the end of this season, Milan Lucic's deal is up and Sean Monahan's deal is up. So they have the money. Like they have navigated this very well. They re-signed Andrew Mangiapane.
Yeah.
Like they have rebounded very, very well. Leads to the question of team captain. Do you go Huberdeau since he's going to be there forever and a day? Do you go short-term captain like a Hanifin, a Tanev, Rasmus Anderson? Like I don't know who they go for.
To me, Matthew Tkachuk was their next captain. So now, that's a tough one. That's really tough.
Yeah, I don't have
see them just handing it to Huberdeau, but that's also a tough situation to walk in from Florida to a Canadian team, and now you're also the captain. You're making 10.5 mil if you don't put up that 100 points.
Yeah. Canadian media will have a fucking field day.
Yeah,
they're already having a field day right now. They're already going off already.
That's fair.
Are they?
Rumbling up just. I see why people left. I see why Gaudreau left that situation over there in Calgary, because it's just the media itself is just kind of like, I mean, it's not as cutthroat as it is over here in Toronto, but just in general, like the viciousness sometimes if you just underperform like a small little smidge, it's like, well, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up, to be honest. Montreal, no captain. Feel like they're in the same spot as the Ducks, where you're going to kind of wait for somebody younger. Granted, Nick Suzuki's new 8-year contract starts this year. They have Gallagher and Josh Anderson for 5 more years. Mike Matheson for 4. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe, do you name a 23-year-old Nick Suzuki the captain? I don't think so. Like I think you go for like a Brendan Gallagher at that stage if you're even going to keep him.
I think just give Gallagher. It should 100% be Gallagher.
Yeah.
The Flyers don't currently have a captain. Just give it to John Tortorella. God, you have Couturier, new 8-year extensions kicking in this year. I feel like he's got to be the obvious shout. Because otherwise your longest, if we kind of use term as a basis, Kevin Hayes, 4 years left, Farabee 6, Lawton, Nick Delorier, 4 years left each. Rasmus Ristolainen, 5 years at 5.1.
It's going to be Couturier or Ristolainen, 100%.
And then the Seattle Kraken looking to name their second captain potentially after Mark Giordano. In terms of who they have signed, Jaden Schwartz for 4 years, Burakovsky for 5, Oliver Bjorkstrand for 4. Jesus, Columbus, you're so stupid. Jared McCann for 5. Yanni Gord 3 more years. Jamie Alexiak has 4 more years. Like, there are some options. I don't know if anyone necessarily stands out as like, yeah, this is our guy. You might want to wait for a Matty Beniers or Shane Wright to be ready.
Yeah, I think they should wait. Yeah. I think they're a very similar situation to Anaheim.
Yeah.
Best way to sum it up there, really. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to kind of see who ends up there. in terms of those captain spots. But I think a fair amount of those teams might just wait. Which brings us, everybody, to the main event of the show. The most recent signings. We'll start off with Vegas. They re-signed forward Nick Waugh, 5 years, $3 million. Keegan
That's
Colasar,
an
3
insane
years.
term. Sorry, I'm just gonna say that's an insane term on a $3 million deal. What the fuck?
I think that's just their best way to. Like that's the thought process, right? Like he's worth more, but if we give him the term, he'll drop the price, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth more? I don't know, man. I guess.
Yeah, it's 3 years or $3 million's probably good for Nick Waugh. If you look over 4, it's like, maybe not. Keegan Colasar got 3 years at 1.4. That one's pretty surprising too. It leaves him with $2 million in space after Weber's LTIR. That's right. Again, Shea Weber's LTIR for Vegas to sign defender Nick Hague, who's worth more than $2 million. So
yeah,
more moves for Vegas coming up.
Oh
Watch
boy!
your back. The swords are flying.
Oh boy!
Someone's gonna get got.
Walsh is his PA, his personal assistant right now is going ham.
His fucking spider sense is going crazy.
Yeah, this fucking assistant is just on Photoshop nonstop now, putting up all the possibilities.
God. And Martin Necas re-signed in Carolina for 2 years at $3 million. Pretty damn good deal there.
I really wanted him back in the Burns deal.
I don't blame you. And they'll be okay because they still got Jake Gardner on LTIR for 1 more year. And nothing else happened, everybody. Nothing else. Well, there is one more team that did something. Just a few things. The Boston Bruins did a thing. Sound the alarms. They actually did a thing. Don Sweeney woke the hell up and did a thing. Now,
3 things.
I called August 8th a good day to be a Bruins fan. Wasn't a great day. But Don did well. Don did what he had to do to save his goddamn job. Because. Allow me to read off what the Bruins lines could have been had these moves not happened. Top line could have been something like Marchand, Zacha, Pasternak. Yikes. Second line could have looked like Taylor Hall, Charlie Coyle, Jake DeBrusk. And then you get into the bottom 6. Third line presumably could have been something like Nick Foligno, Oscar Steen, Craig Smith. And the fourth line, Noshik, Frederick, Lettieri, Jack Studnicka. Fucking yikes is what the Boston Bruins were looking at. But on the 8th, not only, of course, did they re-sign Pavel Zacha 1 year at $3.5 million, not too bad. They brought back Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci. The captain, 1 year at $2.5 million. The best contract in the NHL. Fuck you otherwise if you disagree. Because that is the greatest defensive forward in the history of the NHL for $2.5 million. I don't care how old he is. He's still beyond elite. Thank God this happened. And then David Krejci comes back after a year away in the Czech League. 1 year, $1 million.
Yeah.
Hopefully he hasn't lost too much of a step. But presumably the Bruins lines now will be something like this. Marchand, Bergeron, and probably Jake DeBrusk. And a second line of Taylor Hall, David Krejci, and David Pasternak. And I say that second line because that was a big point of contention with Bruce Cassidy, as he didn't really like playing Krejci and Pasternak together, even though they really wanted to. And then your third line suddenly looks like Pavel Zacha, Charlie Coyle, Craig Smith, which I think is a phenomenal third line. This team looks so much goddamn better on paper. Yes, it hinges upon 2 very old men not falling off of a cliff, but I will take that bet compared to the alternative of what the fuck was that roster going to look like if Bergeron retired and Krejci didn't come back.
Think about when the Sharks made the cup. Both Marlowe and Thornton were over the age of 35.
Yeah. And, if you have the right supporting cast around them, good things can happen, as long as you don't run into the fucking worst case scenario of a team like Pittsburgh.
All I know
But
is Pavel Zacha is worth as much as Bergeron and Krejci. So
so celebrate
better
the
act
move,
like it,
everybody.
motherfucker. Time to be the best third liner. You got to dish that puck and you got to shut it down all at the same time. Enjoy.
I just thank God though, it takes so much pressure off of him to not have to be this
And Coyle.
Coil too, man. Like, thank God. Like, it really does take so much pressure off of those guys where you don't have to be this dynamite top 6 option. You can just be a really good third line option. And fuck's sake, if you can't pull off being a good third line option when you're playing behind that top 6, then you gotta go. Like, this is the time to be like, yeah, no, this, you gotta get it done at this instance. But much more optimistic about the Bruins season this year. Cap space wise, they're basically done. They have enough space to send down some people to become cap compliant, so they're pretty much good to go. I don't know. I don't know if this team is necessarily good enough on paper to win a cup, but I do like their chances a little bit more. It is worth noting, however, and this is where it gets scary for the Bruins. Brad Marchand and Charlie McAvoy have both had surgery this offseason.
Right.
Brad Marchand had hip surgery. McAvoy had shoulder surgery. I believe Marchand, it was at the end of May, had that surgery. That's a 6-month recovery time, so he's going to miss the start of the season. And McAvoy, I think, had shoulder surgery at the beginning of June, also with the projected 6-month recovery time. So, you know, if the team's not at 100% at the start of the season and they start slow, that Atlantic division is scary enough that maybe you just find yourselves a bit too far gone and not being able to recover. It could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel a hell of a lot better at this stage than I thought I would. And if they fail to miss the playoffs, please fire Don Sweeney, even though he just signed an extension. Thank you. I'm not 100% on the Don Sweeney train at this point, just because he did literally the bare minimum to keep this team in a competitive state. So, boys, with that, a nice short off-season show, because what else would we do? For the love of God, Nazem Kadri, please sign. For the love of God, Dallas, find a way to sign Jason Robertson and Jake Ottinger. What the hell are you doing? Those are your 2 franchise studs moving forward. For the love of God, get the deal done. What's the matter with you? For the love of God, will the Toronto Maple Leafs find a way to sign Phil Kessel for League Min? Or come back to Boston? Either or. Make it happen. Somebody sign Phil Kessel. Please. And PK Subban for that matter. Or don't, so he can go make ESPN or TNT's coverage better here in the States.
I thought he already signed a contract with them.
I think he did.
He signed an off-season contract. So
Fair enough.
he basically guaranteed himself a job.
Door. Yeah.
Outside of he gets a job every playoff time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He is with ESPN.
He's gonna kick ass as an analyst. He's he's still serviceable as a player, but who knows if anyone signs him.
You know the shitty thing? He's only 33.
Oh, I know. It's nuts how far his career has seemingly dropped in such a weird amount of short amount of time. But
those injuries, man. Those injuries. I mean, he played 77 games last year, but
and I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's his personality and his ego. I'm like, it's not, dude. Like, come on. Like, there's such a just because he did a YouTube channel thing and other stuff, like him just being himself, and people always want to attribute that to your lack of focus. Like, dude, players are human, and honestly, if he's being himself, I'd say he's more focused on the game. It's injuries, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks that there might be something more behind. It's just him having an outgoing personality.
I didn't want to say that, but
it starts with an R.
Rectal cancer. Oh.
And ends with Acism. I mean, rectal. I mean, like, I don't know what he's got going on there. Like,
Rectal caseism.
Okay, so we'll try to make the episode title either Acism or Rectal Acism. We'll see. We'll see if we can get away with either of those. If not, we can default to Walsh's Spider Sense.
There
Like
you
that,
go.
I feel like that could be a more
Or
family
the
friendly
flying swords in Vegas.
God damn it. Sin, it was great having you back this week.
It's good to be back.
What do you got going on? I know you got some franchise.
Yeah,
going
playing
on.
some franchise Capitals. Ovi finally retired with over 1,000 goals in his career. We did it. We got him to the 1K milestone. We did win one cup and then got very, very close to another one. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
I won't say if we won or not with this one, but we had Crosby and Malkin as well on the Caps.
what the heck?
Yes.
Was that like a was
All
that a
free
fuck you
agents.
team?
Kinda. And that was a good run too. But yeah, we just did a quick little retool, integrating the new young guys in the lineup. So yeah, it's still going strong, man. And that's pretty much it. I'm still doing the music stuff. You guys check me out on Spotify, Paul Cinders, and also very happy. I just inherited like $2,000 worth of a bunch of free Warhammer stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun with that the last few days.
There you go. Endo Mills, what's going on with you, my friend?
So I've been doing Be a Pro because I hate myself.
Oh, hey,
You must.
remember how last night on stream, number one, I kicked your ass?
You shut your whore mouth with that fucking.
We'll
those
upload
pretty
something
lips.
on YouTube eventually where I kicked your ass.
This
remember
fucker.
how last night you complained to me about using my rosters in Be a Pro?
Yes.
And how it's like, oh, it's difficult for me as a 65 overall to score on your rosters, and tried to make that sound like a bad thing.
No,
It's
I'm
like,
not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the fact that EA has still consistently, for the past 2 years, drop you in as a 65 overall, no matter where the fuck you start. I don't know why you would, if you're gonna drop me in the end, fucking give me at least a chance as a 65 overall. Because the way your rosters are put up, people don't know already, is that everyone has like fucking 85 to like 95 speed, and it's more accurate to how players actually are. The worst part is I use 10 to 10 attribute like adjustments, so that way if you're like actually like a top player, you're playing a top player. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like dying on there. I'm dying on the ice. Aside from Be a Pro, doing maybe recording some hockey. I got a playoff game tonight, hence why we recorded a little bit earlier. And hopefully I don't die. And yeah, that's it. That's what I got going on. Follow me, Endo Mills, on everywhere. Yeah.
Beautiful. For me, streaming. God, we've played a lot of stuff recently. Because my emulator broke for NCAA basketball, but we're getting back to that. Gonna get a bit more F1 in there. And in less than a week's time, Madden 23.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to get back and playing Madden. I know it's a mess of a game every year. I can enjoy that mess of a game, mainly because I don't play it online. But I can enjoy that beautiful mess of a game. I actually haven't... Now, they changed the scouting system to be more like NHL's during the course of last year's game. But I never went back to Madden once that change came through. So that scouting is going to be completely new for me, which I'm very, very excited about. So happy for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can build another big old dynasty like we had with the Atlanta Falcons last year. Forget what channel that was on for that one. But go watch that.
One.
It's on the second one. There you go. Go watch that one because that was a hell of a time. Sin had a hell of a time following the adventures of a certain quarterback who made himself a hero, a legend for Dirty Bird Nation.
Got a question though. Got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Are you playing it on PC or playing it on console?
Probably going to play it on console because if the F1 launch on PC is any indication, I trust EA's releases on console to be in better shape.
Okay. The reason why I said that is because I'm going to throw this out there just while we're on the pod here. Would you do a Parsec Super Bowl run?
Where we play Madden as a unit?
Yes.
Do we have to do that, or is that a possibility in Madden to begin with?
I'm not really sure. I mean, can you play Connected Franchise with people on the same team?
We'll find this out. Maybe we have some content coming to the Madden world. Maybe we do. I mean, we tried to do this for FIFA, but again, you can't position lock in old FIFA games.
Yeah.
Like Endo and I tried that, and Sin, it would have been fun as hell. And it would have been fun to get you involved there, even though you're not a big FIFA player. But just the idea of Endo and I were playing, us two against the AI, and I could pass it, and it would switch to Endo no matter what player he was controlling. So if like he was making a run down the field with one player, whenever I passed it to the computer, it would switch to him, so he'd just turn into the defense every time because he wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Just a shit show. Absolute shit show. So fucking
awful.
difficult. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll be able to play an old football game unless there is more recent FIFA. I really wanted to play like FIFA World Cup 2014 and have us win the World Cup as like the United States or something, because that's never fucking happening.
Never
without our
happening.
help. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Bottom line, I'm excited.
Longest outro ever, by the way. I like it.
Isn't it? We have fun here. We talk. We'll see you next week, everybody. Rectal Acism. Will that be the episode title? Find out. You already did. Manscaped, code Tougie. Good night.